Hello friends, and welcome to Virtual Happy Hour Canada Day edition. Happy Canada Day. I hope your day is off to a great start. I intend to make it even better by showing you how to make the classic Canadian cocktail, the Caesar. Today I will be using Walter Caesar mix. This is their smoky maple variety. You will of course need Worcestershire sauce, hot sauce, salt, pepper, lime, vodka, or you could use gin or tequila, whatever floats your boat. In terms of garnish, I'm using the classic celery stalk, a wedge of lime, and a cucumber wedge. But do whatever feels right to you. You could add bacon, you could add some seafood, a little shrimp cocktail action. You could add even a mini slider if your heart so desires. I have already taken the liberty of running my lime around the rim of this glass and rimming it with celery salt, which is the classic preparation of the Caesar. Of course, do whatever feels right. If you want it to be more spicy, you could add a little cayenne pepper or chili powder into your rim mix with some salt and pepper, maybe even a little dill. Whatever floats your boat, people. Your imagination is the only limit. So this cocktail, although it's credited as being a Canadian cocktail because it's primarily enjoyed in Canada, the first incidence of a seasoned tomato clam juice vodka cocktail is recorded as having occurred at the Polonaise nightclub in Manhattan in 1953, where it was called the Smirnoff Smiler. It is also recorded as having had Worcestershire sauce because gossip columnist Walter Winchell, a month after its creation, said it had Worcestershire sauce in it. So that's where it originally came from, but a lot of people have laid claim to having created this particular cocktail. So that's the first recorded incidence, but 6 years later, Charles Adams, who is the creator and cartoonist behind the Addams Family, claimed to have created the Gravel Gertie, a vodka tomato clam juice seasoned cocktail with hot sauce. He claimed to have created it, but up for debate. Several years later, in 1962, a guy in Dallas came up with this, or claims to have come up with a seasoned tomato clam juice vodka cocktail, but he used a basil garnish and he called it the Clam Digger. Why am I telling you this? Well, because 6 years later, in 1968, Seagram's president Victor Fischel partnered up with a marketing guy from Mott's and claimed that they created the Clam Digger cocktail, and they put in actually a trademark application for the name Clam Digger. And as you know, there are other trademark cocktails, like Gosling's Black Seal Rum owns the trademark for Dark and Stormy, which is why you can't call it a Dark and Stormy if it isn't made with Gosling's. So there you go, that all happened in 1968. In 1968, Smirnoff and Mott's put out this huge nationwide marketing campaign in magazines promoting a recipe for the Clam Digger cocktail, even though, as discussed, that name and that sort of preparation was actually pioneered in 1962 in Dallas. So where does Canada come in all of this? I'm going to add some ice to our Collins glass that I'm using for the Caesar, and then we're going to get to mixing. So in 1969, a restaurant manager at the Calgary Inn, which is now the West Inn, was tasked with coming up with a featured cocktail for a new Italian restaurant that they were opening in the hotel. Where is my jigger? Found it. So we're gonna do 1.5 ounces of vodka. I'm gonna pour it into this mixing tin. We're just gonna give it a stir. Some recipes recommend throwing the cocktail, which I experimented with earlier, and I'm not very good at it. And throwing the cocktail is basically tossing the liquid from 1/2 of your Boston Shaker 1828 set into the other, back and forth using a julep strainer. My julep strainer doesn't really fit this particular 1828 set particularly well, so we're not going to do that. We're going to do 4 dashes of Worcestershire. That seems like a lot. Maybe went a little heavy-handed there. 2 or more, depending on how spicy you want it, dashes of hot sauce. There we go. I want it a little spicy today. Some salt and pepper. So this guy, Walter Chell, in 1969 at the Calgary Inn, he is inspired to create this vodka, tomato, clam cocktail because it reminded him of spaghetti a la Vagnol, which is clam tomato sauce spaghetti. And so he's like, well, this makes sense, like this is gonna work well together. Let's try this. And so what he did was he mashed up some clams and created a nectar. Nothing sounds more disgusting to me than clam nectar. So I'm glad they didn't name it that and they came up with the name Clamato, because that's much more palatable than clam nectar. 4 to 6 ounces of your Caesar, your tomato clam juice mix. Again, I'm using Walter. I'm gonna start with 4.5, or that was 4, so let's do 5. There we go. Then we're gonna add some ice and give it a stir. So he came up with a cocktail. His granddaughter says that he named it the Caesar because of his Italian ancestry, so naming it Caesar after, of course, the Roman emperor. And then Bloody Caesar. So where does that come from? Some people will argue it's to differentiate the Caesar from the Bloody Mary. It's American cousin that doesn't have the clam juice component. But he says that it's because when he was spending 3 months developing the cocktail, one of the customers who tried it said, that's a bloody good Caesar. And that's why it's called a Bloody Caesar. So technically, not created originally in Canada, but certainly a Canadian treasure. And we can thank Walter Chell at the Calgary Inn for its widespread popularity here in the Great White North. That is your cocktail history lesson of the day. Straining into our Collins glass. I made it quite dark because I accidentally used way too much Worcestershire. Oh, look at that. Perfection. Perfection. I'm going to stick in our celery stalk, and at the risk of completely overwhelming this glass, yes, living very dangerously, with the cucumber, and then a wedge of lime. And of course you could use a straw, but then you would miss out on the celery salt brim. Cheers, happy Canada Day. Oh yeah, nailed it. I'm about to lose an eye to this cucumber wedge. Oh, that's good. Have a wonderful Wednesday off. Enjoy your Canada Day. I will be by the pool later on. Maybe I'll send some snaps, send some pics. Have a great day, friends. See you tomorrow.